Hey guys, Justin here. Quick note, the hot lap is going to be on lap 2, so if you're skipping ahead, make sure to skip to lap 2. And also now I'm opening up my qualifying guide series for sponsors. I work 4 hours every Monday and Tuesday to get these videos out for you guys, and it's a lot of fun, but if you want to just do the extra bit and help me out even more and also have a good place to show your advertisement at the beginning screen here and a shout out during this section, feel free to reach out to me on Discord or by email, and I'd love to get you or your company on this. Thanks a lot. All right, easy enough. Let's get right to the lap.
Has anyone invited Lewandowski to the Orca farm?
I don't know if you watch it. Anyone can if they watch a singular video from me. It's in the description.
I feel like I've seen him in the comments there, haven't I?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't remember though.
I thought I'd seen him in there. Okay, alright, here's a decent lap.
I think I might win. I don't know. I think I'm good at Texas. I'm not 100% sure though.
I'm not sure either. Man, I'm just getting loose. I have to get out of the throttle or I'm just
No, you
so
can full throttle it. Don't let your dreams be dreams.
Every time I try to full throttle, I lose time.
Oh, this is such a good corner. Holy crap. Oh, that's my video lap.
30.657.
Ooh!
Alright, let's take a look at that. So we're going to start once, or as always, with the run-up. So this is going to be run-up to the second lap here. I kind of just want to run it normally. So I think that full throttling around the high side, I didn't try it too much, but it felt too sketchy for me. And if you lose your tires at all, if you kind of scrub speed by getting loose, it kind of negates the effect of getting the bigger run-up. So I elect to do more of a arcing middle to bottom line and then kind of going back up to the wall, and that seems to carry the most speed in my opinion. I don't think it makes that much of a difference, to be honest with you, with how these cars work here. As long as you get it kind of close, it's only going to be a couple hundredth difference, but those couple hundredths could mean a lot when it comes down to where you qualify. So anyways, I carry a lot of speed here. So we get into turn 1 and my line is going to be a semi-arc, a little early arc here. I want to get to the bottom pretty quickly, kind of like this instead of here. So you're going to see in the race I go for a bigger arc, and some people go for a shallower entry. So for qualifying, you want to be somewhere right in the middle. You want to be getting down early, but not to the point where you have to slow your car down too much. Because as you're going to notice, you're going to be using brake to get down to this bottom. And the reason for that is by using the brake, it's the quickest way to rotate your car that dramatically, and you're not slowing your car down much. So we're going to be dragging that brake, and it's going to get us to that white line. And so you see I time it here, so I don't brake until I get to the white line. I brake until my car lines up straight with the apex. That's a big lesson here, because you don't want to brake all the way down to the white line, because if you take this angle all the way here, now your angle is going to bring you to the wall. You see how that kind of works? So instead, you want to brake down the hill until your car is lined up straight with the apex that you want to hit. And in this case, I want to hit the apex a little bit in the middle of the corner. If it could be late, that'd be great, but it's kind of hard to do. And you probably lose a little bit of time. So you see I pick up this throttle when I hit the earliest apex possible, because you see if I was any straighter I'd miss the apex, or I would go straight to the wall obviously, but if I were to wait too long, then I would miss that apex and have to change my line. So make sure to pick up that throttle to where you're throttling into the apex. And so you see I don't light switch the throttle. You're going to see sometimes in qualifying guides I full gas, kind of almost like I'm on a controller, you know. But here, I really make sure to smooth throttle it, because that's how we make sure that we keep all of the tires and the rears engaged. So I smooth throttle it, as close to the white line as possible. And by the time it starts sliding up off the white line, it might look like we're not going to make it, but this is a pretty flat exit. So we're going to be able to keep our wheel in it and kind of hook it up to the wall. So you'll see here, even though I'm full throttle, it seems kind of scary, but we're able to make a lot of wheel correction at the last second to keep it off the wall, and we don't lose our tires that much, so we keep most of our speed. So that's a good 1 and 2. Now 3 and 4, you can, depending on the track temperature, you can full throttle 3 and 4. Now this is going to be something to look at in the race, because I think in our race the track temperature was like 116 or something. I found that really sketchy to full throttle, but I think you can without sliding your rears or anything. If your track temperature is down to like 110, I think that you can full throttle with little to no issue. And then if your track temperature is like above 120, then you're going to have issues unless you let off on corner entry. So here I do the tiniest blip off. Maybe I didn't even need to do that, who knows. But I was able to drive down to the white line and kind of stick it there. Now keeping your car off the apron is really difficult. You see I actually touched it a little bit, and it didn't lose any speed for me, but you can see what the issue with touching the apron is that before touching the apron, my car is facing this way. But now, after I touch the apron, my car is now, oh gosh, I've screwed that up. My car is now facing, more this way, towards the wall. So I'm going to have to put a little more wheel into it in order to keep it off the wall. And that probably hurt me about 2/200ths or so, I would say, because I would have been able to keep the wheel straighter coming off the corner and keep more speed. But it was still a good 3 and 4 in the sense to where I could drive it all the way up to the wall and keep it off and keep the wheel straight as possible and carry that momentum through 3 and 4. And that's how we get a pole time here. Now this is pretty hard to execute, especially if your track state's getting there above 110, 115. That's when everything's going to start to multiply in difficulty. But if you kind of back it off a little bit and keep within your abilities, especially depending on the temperature of the track, then you should be good to go relatively. All right, let's take a look at the race. All right, so the race, we ended up finishing 3rd, which is decent considering we botched qualifying. I had a good first lap, and then on my second lap I hit the apron and screwed myself. I could have started probably 2nd, 3rd there. But we started back in 7th and got slightly bailed out because pour one out for Andrew. He got disconnected right before the race started, so that absolutely sucks for him. But for us, we move up to 5th. So from there, basically off the start, the bottom lane has a very good advantage on the bottom, so I was able to clear one coming off the corner. And then so there was a battle of tire saving lines here that I'll show you after these guys get done battling. So I decided to stay behind Thomas a little bit because he's really fast on these type of tracks, and he had a very interesting line, completely different. I thought this line might have been a thing, but I didn't try it out for myself because I thought my line was really good because this is the line that I used in the C-Fixed. So here's what I was doing, and try not to look at Thomas yet. But what I tried to do was a really long arc, and see I'm barely turning the wheel using my brake to get to the bottom. So I use my brake to get down to the bottom so that it minimizes our steering wheel inputs, and then we make a straight exit off of 2. So that was my approach to 1 and 2. Now let's compare this to Thomas's, because this proved to be a better approach. Now, it proved to be a better approach in about 10% on the right front, but by the end of the race, our times were fairly similar. I would say he was not even a 10th faster than me. See, we finished within a second of each other. There was some battling going on, but I would say he maybe had a 10th of an advantage from this line for the last, I would say, 10 laps. So he keeps it a full lane off the wall and then just sticks it all the way to the bottom and then picks it up and gets it on the right rear, because there's a little patch down here if you keep your left front really close to the white line, your rears will actually kick out on early run, and this will help the car get loose, and then you're also making a straight entry off the corner. So notice, so the offset's a little weird because of how replays work, but this is this is his wheel on a straightaway, and this is his wheel in the middle of the corner, and the ratio is off a little bit, but it goes to show you that he's not using much wheel at all. Like, compare it to the guy in front of him, JP here. He had his wheel all the way over here at one point, whereas Tom is barely getting right here, and that's a huge difference in tire saving. And then remember my old video on secret tire saving strategy at oh crap, I forget the track by now, but this is essentially the same thing, and this works because of the banking change and kind of how the grip works on the very bottom. You can get the car loose, and that's what Thomas is doing. So I'll probably try that the next time that I run this. If I run this again, I don't love this combo, but you can see a shallow entry, really early braking, being patient, and picking up the throttle and getting your rears to kick out. If your rears are not kicking out, then the line isn't working and you want to try it again. Because you can kind of a little see here that he's moving his wheel back to the right after he steps on the gas. If his wheel was moving to the left after he stepped on the gas, that means he would be getting tight and it would be bad. But because he's picking up the throttle and his wheel is just moving back to neutral, or whatever neutral is for him in this replay, that shows that he is getting loose. Now compare that to me. Now all the ratios are really off because of how replay works, but I'm doing the same thing because I'm making a very straight exit by arcing the corner late. But the difference here is because he's using more brake to wrap the bottom, he's getting less initial wheel input. His is probably around here compared to my here, if we were to compare them directly. So that's what you're gaining out of this. You're gaining being able to turn the wheel less on corner entry. And I thought that if I did my line correctly, it would achieve that. And I think it does achieve it. It's just harder to make work in the middle of the run. But I want to show you guys one more thing, because I had the best 3 and 4 throughout the entire race, even though my tires were not great because of how I treated 1 and 2. So I want to show you guys my approach to 3 and 4 here. We'll show a decent lap here. Lap 22, I'm still going for my line. You can see I'm just putting too much wheel input into it. I've already committed to this line though. I think if I know what to do if I do it again, showing you guys just now. I would really minimize that wheel input. But look at 3 and 4 here. I completely burp out of the throttle, 100% out of the throttle, straight back in and drive it down to the white line. What this does is this full let out of the throttle gets the car's, it helps the car's weight shift to point towards the white line without using extra wheel input. A real pitfall of tire wear on this track is using your wheel to get down to the white line into 3. So if you give up a little bit of time on entry, this is really good for your tires, and it makes up really good time because I can almost full throttle it even though we're on lap 22. So I was losing about 1/10 of a second in 1 and 2 and gaining it back in 3 and 4. And then if I had a perfect 1 and 2, I would kind of hold even and then gain in 3 and 4. I think I was about 2 seconds back at one point and brought it back to 1 second, but I was out of tires at the end of the race because my line, you see, it gets worse and worse as the race goes on. I'm using more and more wheel input. So because I'm using more and more wheel input, that's going to compound the effect of the bad right front wear. So that's another reason why you want to use their little bottom lane trick, because the compounding is not as bad. So you see he's using more wheel for sure, but I'm sure if we were to get the same ratios and all that set up, then his wheel would be used a lot less than mine, because the compounding wheel turn from bad tires is not as bad, if that makes any sense. So anyways, just wanted to show you guys those couple of things. Those are my 2 big tricks on the long run. Thomas using his tricks were able to save enough tires to fight really good battle here for the lead, and eventually he was finally able to clear him. It was a really hard pass though, even with the ton of tire difference. So that kind of shows you guys that track position is kind of king here. If I was able to kind of keep up with horrible tires and another guy on Horrible Tires was able to hold off Thomas off for about 10 laps, you're going to want to qualify good. And so I think between working on your qualifying, making sure you have track position, managing your tires in those ways, I think you guys are set up to have a successful race. But anyways, I thank you all for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you all on the track.